Hi friends, welcome to the Lori Lulu Crochet Podcast, episode 133. My name is Lori. I live in the Chicago suburbs with my husband Ryan, and I love to crochet and I love to knit. Crochet is my first love, but I've been finding myself knitting more and more. So it may have to become the Lori Lulu Crochet and Knitting Podcast. I don't know. Either way, I love to crochet, I love to knit, I love buying yarn, and all the patterns and fancy yarns that I talk about will be linked in the description box down below if that's something you're interested in. So yeah, show notes down below in the description box. Welcome to any new viewers. I'm glad you found me, and returning viewers, I'm glad you came back. Happy Saturday morning, everyone. So first things first, we will talk about the non-purple elephant in the room, and that is my hair. I decided to get rid of the purple. Not for good, just for a little while. Don't get me wrong, I loved my purple hair. I love it. I miss it, even though it hasn't even been a week yet. But I was just ready for a change. I wanted to be able to blend in with the crowd. With purple hair, you kind of stand out and people notice and people comment. And not that it was bad. It just, I was tired of it. So I was like, let me be a wallflower. Let me just blend in with everybody else. So yeah, there we go. It's actually darker than my natural color. Which I don't like my natural color. Anyway, it's a lighter brown, and I've always wanted darker brown hair. I really got dark hair with the purple, and that's for sure. Although once the purple faded out, you could just, because we would have to bleach my hair for the purple to stand out, even as light as my hair was naturally. So you should have seen how blonde I was last week. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm a little kid all over again, because I had really blonde hair when I was little. Goodness, it's too early in the morning. I just kind of wanted to get this over with, get this recorded, not get it over with, but just get it recorded so it was done for the day. I still have the waking up frog in my throat. Okay, gotta drink better. We'll see. Okay, so things that have been going on in my life. Dutch Fest was last week. Praise the Lord, it is over. Like the months leading up to it were stressful. The week of, I don't know what was going on. Like it's just two ladies, just two bad apples that just soured everything. Going crazy. The one day I wasn't there, but she was yelling at my coworker Tara. She was yelling at my manager Beth. She was also yelling at my boss and the associate VP. So the VP of my department and the associate VP. She was yelling at them. And they were like, whoa. Because something wasn't to her liking. And thankfully I wasn't there. I probably would have broken down and been like, I'm out of here. Or Beth joked that if I have to be around that woman again, I'll get fired, because that's how bad she was. And yeah, over something that's easily fixed, and the solutions we had, I guess, weren't to her liking enough, so whatever. And then the other lady, it's like they don't get the population that we serve. Like, they don't understand. These children have disabilities. Their brains, as beautifully made as they are, they don't work like ours. And so when we say putting mulch down will put a child in danger, it's like these are experts in the field. They've dealt with these children for years. And you say, nope, I want the mulch down to prevent mud. Just watch him better. If it's ever brought up again, yeah, I'm livid over this. Like, how dare you say that to our staff? And how dare you put a child's life in danger because you don't want mud? I mean, I was in a tent all day, the volunteer tent. I was standing in mud the entire day. Where's my mulch? Anyway, I'm getting worked up all over again. I was talking with Gina yesterday. So Gina used to be on my team. She's now on another team. She used to help with Dutch Fest. And she was just like, what happened? Like, what made these ladies go so crazy this year? And I was like, I have no idea. And then I was like, maybe it was the hurricane, because we got remnants of it. I mean, not as bad as some other places, but we had winds. I mean, Chicago's a windy city, and I mean, we had winds. And we had rain the day of. So I was like, maybe it was a hurricane. I don't know. And then later something came up about reminding me that we now have a second moon orbiting our planet. I was like, it was a second moon. That's what it was. She's like, yeah, that's what it was. And so anyway, but the day of, we had rain in the morning. So it was a slow start to the day. But once the rain went away, people started coming out, spending their money. So we didn't make as much as last year, but 215,000 is no small potatoes. So anyway, so all that money is going straight back to our school and to our adults. So I'm very excited that, you know, we can get the equipment that our kids and adults need. So, and buses, you know, they usually buy a bus. But thankfully, my role on the Dutch Fest committee is going to be scaled back. Praise the Lord. Because we have a new person that started Monday. So Monday, the day after Dutch Fest, the ladies come back, they clean up, they scrub out the fryers, the grills, all of that. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with that. And then they put away all the stuff that they store at our school. So Kayla started on Monday. Welcome, here we are cleaning. Wear comfy clothes, wear comfy shoes. There's a lot going on. Although, again, that was another battle. There was stuff left in the cafeteria. And she's like, I was coming back at 9, but we have students coming at 8:30. This needed to be out before then. Anyway. So Kayla started, and now she's basically just like kind of a catch-all for us. Because we've been down 2 people in our team for a long time. So Beth and Tara and I, we do what we can. We're treading water as fast as we can to keep our heads above water. Putting out fires as we go. So Kayla's coming in to just kind of help us with the little things that we've probably missed throughout this last year. And then she's also going to be like events and stuff. And yeah. So I'm excited. And then, well, and also I really like her because she thought I was her age and she's 29. And I'm like, thank you. Being a 44-year-old perimenopausal woman, thank you for thinking that I'm that young. I appreciate it. And then we have another person starting on Monday. His name is Josh. He's going to be like the major gifts officer. So I work in the fundraising department, events, all of that for this school for special needs children. And so we have a program for our adults called the Hope Packs program, and it gives them a job, and it also helps the local community. They do all kinds of stuff. So he is going to be basically working with churches and businesses to raise funds for the Hope Packs program. And so he starts Monday. And so it's like we will have a full team again for the first time since 3 months after I started. It's been the challenge since I've started. I've only been there 3 years. But anyway, I'm very excited about both of them getting ready to join our team and see how we do things, you know. I did get to meet Josh at Dutch Fest. He came to Dutch Fest because I wasn't in the interview for him. So I got to meet him. Of course, I looked like a drowned rat because I'd been in the rain. So I was like, hi, nice to meet you. But in the midst of all the craziness, lack of sleep, all that, I found something at Joann's that made me think of Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. So I messaged her. I was like, hey, what's your address? I'd like to send you something. And she messaged back and she was like, I was just watching your video on Prince Naveen. And I'm like, Allie, Little Drops of Wonderful watches my podcast. What? So, hi, Allie. I finally got it mailed this week. Hopefully it gets to you soon. Of course, it has to go across the big pond, so who knows, especially with the mail system, how things are going right now, and the shipping and all of that. Shipping strike shouldn't affect mail, but you never know. Okay, with all that, shall we get on with the yarny goodness? I think we should. Let's start with what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Olori sweater tee. I'll put it up here. I've already forgotten what it's called. Of course, it's Olori. I had to make it. This is my first ever knitted garment. Beautiful pink purpley color. The colorway is called Begonia. It is from Black Cat Fibers. Yeah, it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, so it's kind of itchy. But I don't care. I love it. I will deal with it because it's beautiful, and I made it. Like, I hadn't worn it in a while, and so I pulled it out this week because we had pictures taken at work, and so I was like, well, I'll wear this. And then I'm walking through the hall, and Kayla made a comment, and she was like, oh, that's a really pretty sweater. And I was like, thanks, I made it. I said, what? So yeah, oh, I love this sweater so much. I do. I mean, it's a little wide here in the neck, but it'll be all right. So with that, now let's get on to finished objects. I have one. I was living in my retro granny bag that I made myself. It's the retro granny square. I'll link the pattern down below. I just made 5 of them, stitched them together. Well, first I aligned each square and then stitched together, made a little handle. I have this cute pin pin, it's supposed to look like a Chicago hot dog, but it's yarn and notions and stuff instead of the tomatoes and the relish and the pickle and the mustard. It's knitting notions. So in this bag was my daisy tee. This pattern had been on my queue. I had gotten the yarn for it. I just was waiting to start it. And then my sweet Daisy girl, our little kitty, passed away. So that night I actually, instead of crocheting or working on anything, I wound up the yarn, which is, it's Cascade Heritage. It's 75/25. Colorway is 5719, which is Violet Indigo. It is this gorgeous purple. Imagine purple. Imagine me picking purple. Oh gosh, I love this purple. It is so pretty. The daisy tee, I worked on it and I was getting so close to finishing it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep working on this. I didn't really work on anything else. So the ends are not woven in. It has not been washed or blocked because I finished it so close to podcasting time that I was like, you know what? I'll just show it raw. And then next time I podcast, I will wear it where it's all finished. But here we go. So here is my daisy tee. So last time you saw, I was here. Where am I? Oh. Trying to show you my cute little kitty stitch marker. So I was there, finished, went up to the sleeves, finished that, sewed it all together. So this is what it looks like on. So yeah, it is very holey. So make sure you have a tank top, or as the British people call them, vests. Make sure you have that on. But let me stand on my tiptoes so you can see it hits. This is where my hip is. So it hits my hip. So it comes down to mid butt area. So it is longer. I had to go buy more yarn because I made it longer than the pattern said. And then as I was sewing it together, that's what I don't like about when you have to make two panels and then stitch them together. It's like, do I know it's gonna fit me okay? Like, I don't know that until it's done. Like, I can't try it on as I go. Oh gosh. So anyway, I did do one extra row on the back panel at the top, just so I could tell which one was the back. So it comes up a little higher on the back, which I love. When I did initially sew the top seam, it was stopped like out here, and it was just too much. And so then it's like, well, I'm guessing, and I'll do like 5 more stitches, I guess. And I put it on, and I was like, this is perfect. As you can see, I still have ends to weave in. There is a line from where I stitched it together, wrong sides out, but that should just block right out. Yeah. In the back. I love it. Now, I'm not used to wearing things like this that are open. So we'll see how much this gets worn, but I'm so glad I made it. And it's gorgeous. I'll just make sure that my tank top comes up a little higher. There we go. And we'll have my kitty necklace out. Can't believe it's done. Okay, so I do that all the time when I'm trying to segue. Okay, so, or anyway, make some progress. I have two. One you've seen before, and it's getting close to being done. The other one is a new one. So, and they're both knitted projects. Oh, I totally forgot to mention this with my finished object. So I have a yarn winder. Makes these cakes. They're not quite as stable as some other yarn winders make. Like, you can see how messy that is. So I was like, well, maybe I'll buy a skein coat and we'll deal with, make those work. But then I'm like, do I really want to spend my money on that? No, I don't. So I was just trying to find different alternatives. I thought maybe I'll make something. And then one day I had on a pair of Mickey Mouse socks that I've had for a long time. And they're getting threadbare and they're losing their shape. And I thought, maybe I could fit a skein into my sock. And so like I still have to figure out how to do the heel. Like the heel is kind of odd, but of course this isn't a Mickey Mouse sock. It's a different sock. So I stuffed my skein into a sock. This sock I got from my cousin. He was living in South Korea at the time, and when he came home for Christmas, this was my Christmas present. Was this pair of socks. And I have another set that's like, it's really weird. So yeah, my skein fit nice and snug in there. I was able to do a center pull without it it's collapsing, but not like getting everywhere. Like if this was just out and about. So yeah, so that's the new skein coat that I Jimmy rigged myself. Okay, make some progress. So another pattern that I'd had in my queue on Ravelry for a long time was the daisy socks. So obviously with the death of our cat, I'm like, let's make all the daisy things. I don't know, last night it just really hit me again, like I really miss her. But that's how grief goes, right? It just comes at the oddest times. So, the Daisy Socks by Debbie Ford. Love it. Hers are top-down socks. I do mine toe up. I've just never had the desire to do cuff down. Never have. Like, I don't know why. I just don't want to. And I don't have to. The yarn that I'm using is RMR yarn from my lovely friends Yaks and Rue, who I miss. I haven't seen them in a while. All of their colorways are in Spanish. It is Azucena, which means lily. So I'm using a lily colorway to make daisy socks. But this is the colorway. Like, I love this. It's so beautiful. So here's a skein coat that I've purchased. I have this one and then I have a kitty one as well. But yeah. And let me just say the difference in the cakes. This one, so I started balling the yarn so I could split it in half. And then I wound up the cake from the ball. This one was coming straight off of the Swift, and so my Swift is kind of tight. So as you're winding the yarn, because I do this now, it's pulling the yarn tight. So this is a tight cake. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to loosen my Swift a little. But the Swift was made by my dad, so I'm not complaining about my Swift at all. So here are my socks. So far, look. I love these socks. Oh my gosh. These are just so gorgeous. So here's where I was last time. I thought I only had like a few more repeats and then I was going to do the heel. I did do the heel and then I tried it on. Like I said, toe up, I can try it on as I go. Realized that's not gonna fit. So because even just decreasing 4 stitches is made this a little more different fit. So I usually do 60 stitches. And so when I got to the heel, I ended up increasing a bit. So my heel would be bigger, be wider. Although the widest part of my foot is by my toes, the narrowest part of my foot is my heel. But anyway, these are socks, they will stay on fine. And I just kept that increase. Ended up moving some of the stitches over to this side, so it's an even 30 and 30. Because then I realized I am gonna have to try to get this over my ankle and my heel. So the top of the leg needs to be a little bigger. So yeah, so now I have that note like, hey, you have a couple more stitches on this side than you did down here. Does that make sense? Did I make sense with all of that? I don't know. But yeah, look. Oh, these are so cute. I've already done one of the stitch repeat. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I've done one repeat. So it's only like this tall now. I think I might do 5 total. So I have 4 more repeats and then do the cuff. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, close to finishing these. These should be finished soon. Hopefully this week. We shall see. Oh, they were living in this cute bag made for me by my friend Lori. And then I got this lovely badge from the Paris Olympics from my coworker Tara and my friend Tara. Yeah. My second Making Progress. Hold on, let me get a drink here real quick. Sparkling water, blackberry mango. So yummy. So the next Making Progress is a birthday present for Ryan. It is living in this Disney cat bag. Yeah. If you know me, you know why I had to have this. The Notions pouch that I picked was the Moana one with Maui on it, because he loves Maui. The pattern is called The Stair, which is so cool. I think I finally figured out how I'm going to do this. I'm definitely having to learn some new things. So the yarns that I'm using, I started it last night. So starting with this blue from Valley Yarns, and the colorway I'll put up here. I think it's just blue. So I started it last night, was doing only one ball. It's like the stitches that I did the amount of stitches. I'm like, that's not gonna fit. That's not even gonna fit around my cable. What's going on? And then I looked at it. Oh, it's a DK weight. I'm using fingering weight. So I'm holding the two skeins double, or I'm holding them together to create the DK weight. So there is the beginning. I totally messed up the rib, that first row down here. Yeah, no, this is side. Like, I don't know, I just was not paying attention. I was busy watching Kalisha from Quirky Monday Craftcast. Anyway, so 5 rows of ribbing so far. Then I will switch to this white, and then we'll intersperse with the black to represent Dixie, our other cat that passed away, and then I'll have the gray to represent Daisy. There's the other gray. So I'm gonna have, so when I'm working on this, I'm gonna have all 6 balls attached to it. This is gonna be interesting. This is going to be very interesting when I get there. And because, you know, most color work is done in the round, because I'm gonna have 2 separate like, I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna do it flat. Yes, I've already started in the round, but I figured I can just stitch up the back. It'll be okay, right? I have a plan, and I've watched videos on how to do this, so I'm hoping it will all work out. Fingers crossed. So, I'm hoping it'll be okay. So those are my makes in progress. When I finish my socks, I always like to have a pair of socks on the go. So I have another pair of socks ready to start. So, living in my twice sheared sheep bag. So cute. This was a prize that I won from the Lisa Frank Mal that I entered in from Hannah from the Cozy Cottage. So I won this bag. The yarn that I'm going to use, a pair of socks, I got as a gift from my coworker Tara. So this summer she went to Paris to the Olympics, and then she also went to Norway, and she got me this beautiful yarn from Norway. She was like, I just saw it was purple, figured you needed to have it. She's like, I don't know what I'm looking for, and I was like, that's fine. So most of it's all in Norwegian. So here's the makeup. 70%, I'm guessing this is superwash merino or superwash wool, and then 30% nylon. The colorway is 769, and it's purple. I looked this up. It is a self-striping yarn. So excited. I was like, this is so cool. It's self-striping. And Tara's like, what does that mean? Spoken like a true non-knitter, right? Anyway, so I was thinking I might use this. I don't think that's gonna, maybe. I'd have to hold it double to do the contrast, heels, toes, and cuffs. Part of me is like, no, just do solid this. I'll have to figure it out. I've got time. So those will be started probably once I'll finish the daisy socks, and then these will get started. This next weekend, my husband and I have the Pastor and Spouses retreat, and it's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I've never been there before. We were looking at things to do, and I naturally looked for yarn shops. I said there's only one that's going to be open that Friday while we're there. The rest of them are closed on Fridays. I don't understand, but or they're too far away. So I was like, I said that's the only thing I want to do is stop at the yarn shop, and then we can go do whatever you want to do. There's a bobblehead museum. So he's like, yeah, let's go do that. So we'll see. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to a weekend away. Well, it's not a whole weekend. We leave Thursday, come back Saturday. We're looking for some time away with other pastors and spouses and that understand what we deal with on a weekly basis. So yeah, that might be my project while I'm in Milwaukee, is my Viking socks. So anyway, with that, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will see you in 2 weeks. God bless. Bye.